So, will you join me in saying a very nice mantra from the Mahanarayana Upanishad? You can see the mantra, it is written over there. Namo Rudraya, Vishnave, Mrityurme Pahi. Namo Rudraya, Vishnave, Mrityurme Pahi. Namo Rudraya, Vishnave, Mrityurme Pahi. You all are very familiar with Hinduism. Many of you are Hindus, practicing Hindus. Can you tell me who is this mantra addressed to? This mantra is addressed to whom? To Vishnu.
Vishnu and Shiva, both.
Do you think it can be Hanumanji?
Yeah, should be.
Correct answer. Think about it. Namo Rudraya. That means Namo is to Rudraya. Rudra avatar is also Hanuman. Vishnave, he was a perfect Vaishnava. Mrityurme Pahi. Take me out of the mouth of death. When Sri Ram was bit by the snakes and he was dying, they said he was leaving this planet. He went, got the Sanjeevani and came. Right? So don't you think this is addressed to Hanumanji? The idea is to worship him so that even when death is coming, Apamrityu is coming, no matter how terrible it is, we will be able to cross over. The doctor's hand will not shake. He will not make a mistake at the time of surgery. The ambulance will be in time. The oxygen will be given in time. It is very important. Split-second decisions can give life or take life. Today's topic is Mrityu Gochara. Can we have the first slide?
Not yet. Sorry. When we say this prayer, which planet is it for?
It is for Hanumanji. Hanumanji here. No, not Mars. Not Mars.
Okay.
Hanumanji as Mars is different. As Mars, he will be the fighter. Not Hanumanji as Saturn. It is Hanumanji as the Vedamurti. Hanumanji is also a Vedamurti. That is, he is the teacher of the Atharva Veda. The Atharva Veda holds Jyotish. The Atharva Veda holds.
It's fine. It's just, it's not a speakerphone, just records.
Is it possible you give me the exact reference? Because when you told me about this, I actually typed out the entire Upanishad.
The Mahanarayana Upanishad.
Yeah.
Of course I'll show it to you. Of course I'll show it to you. It's a very small book. The Mahanarayana Upanishad is a very small book. It is called Mahanarayana, but actually it's a very tiny little thing. Okay. So, can we have the first slide? So the reference to this, I'll show it to you. If anybody has a copy of the Mahanarayana Upanishad, I can show you that. Namo Rudraya Vishnave Mrityurme Pahi. Okay. Defining death. We need to define what is death. First step, what is the difference between a Jivatma and a Jadatma? Do Jadatmas also die? No? This is a glass. If I throw it down and it breaks, is it dead or not?
No.
No? Or yes?
It's already there.
It is already dead.
No, it's not.
It's not dead.
No.
So Jadatma continues to live
Yes.
forever.
Yes.
So it is going to live forever. The Jadatma will live forever.
No, there is no living. There is no such a bird living in Jadam.
Can transform into Shakti. There is nothing to do with death.
So since it never lived, it cannot die. Is that the argument?
Yes.
So you are talking about life and death as existence only for the living. Interesting. Okay, so one aspect of death, one aspect of death, or mrityu, if I can use the word mrityu, one aspect is living and non-living. The difference between the living and the non-living is one aspect of death, not all three. There are three aspects of death. Is there no difference between this glass right now and I break it? Is it still a glass? Can I drink water with it? Does it exist?
It exists, but it has changes form.
Or what?
Rupee change.
So it is still a glass. I mean, glass means okay, I'll use some other things.
Transforms. It transforms.
It's not a glass.
It is no longer a glass. The definition of this as a glass for drinking water ceases to exist. The Jad Atma, when we say Jad Atma, what is the meaning of the word Atma? Atma means there is a self-definition. There is a definition of the self. A mountain is a mountain because there is a definition of that mountain. I say, I climbed Mount Everest. You are defining a certain Atma, Jad Atma. The Jad Atma was Mount Everest. You define that particular form of the mountain as Jad Atma. If tomorrow something happens and the mountain ceases to exist in that shape, it changes shape, it is gone. It is no longer having that height. It is no longer the tallest mountain, then it is not Everest. If it breaks down. So, a Jad Atma is defined by its physical attribute. By its physical attribute, not the life. Am I being understood? This body can be transformed. But so long as it can do the function, if somebody cuts this glass from here on top, I can still drink water with it. So the glass is still doing the same function of giving me water. So the Jad Atma has not been fully destroyed. It has been made smaller. Am I being understood? So the first concept was of life, living and dead, which you all know. A person who is, once somebody dies, he cannot move. He is no longer animate. So the Jivatma has died. We can say that. But how does the Jadatma die? The Jadatma dies when its shape or the physical features that define it, not just shape, physical features that define it, cease to exist for the purpose or the function which caused that definition. This is very important because it has relevance to the human body. It has great relevance to the human body. The human body, if you see the body alone, is a Jadatma. The human body is just a physical form. It is possible that this hand could get cut. Somebody loses a hand. But still the body is functioning. Somebody loses a leg. Still the body functions. He continues to live. Because the Jivatma has not left. But it is possible that the body can get fully destroyed and hence you are forced to die. You think it is possible?
Yes.
Death can occur if your body is completely destroyed and the Atma has no way to live in it.
Right.
It is possible, right? Somebody was bombed. Our Prime Minister, Rajiv Gandhi, was bombed, assassinated. His whole body broke up into small parts. There is no way the Atma could continue to live in the body. So the Atma has to leave. That is destruction of the body that caused the death. Please listen to me very carefully. You have to understand this part. Death is occurring because the body has been destroyed and there is no body available for the Atma to continue in. So he has to leave. So he died. In another case, the body is all right. But the Atma is not ready to live in that body anymore. So the Atma leaves. Are you able to see the difference between the two? Till now, none of you thought about this. Today I am teaching you to think differently about death. You have to see death differently. So basically, I can say that there are two types of deaths. One in which the body is destroyed and you do not have a body to stay in anymore. Two, in which the Atma is tired of this body. It is not serving its purpose anymore, so it leaves the body and goes away. Is there any other way that death can occur?
What is coma? People are in coma for
Very good point. Very good point. How about somebody who is living, medically alive, but brain dead?
The Atma is still there.
Atma is still there.
Atma is there, the body is working, heart is beating. You see my point? The body is working, heart is beating, the Atma is in the body, but the brain is dead.
The Atma that is dead, not the Atma.
The Jadatma is not dead, the body is working.
Yeah, not dead.
The body is working, the heart is beating.
It's the mana.
No, if you say
It is the mana which is dead. So the human body has the tripod of life. When we talk of the tripod of life, death can occur if any one of the three stops functioning. The body, the soul, and the mind is the tripod of life.
no, in case of coma, the people can recover from it. Some case of that.
Of
That case, that's not death. So you can't define coma as a death.
We are going to use a different word for it. What is the word we shall use? Tell me. We shall call it apamrityu. Body, soul, and mind.
Why would you include the soul? The soul never dies anyway.
The soul leaves, and that is death.
Yeah, but that shouldn't be included in the tripod. It just takes up another body. It never
The
dies.
soul has to leave this body. Is that death or not?
Not in the soul, it is body.
The human being is defined as a body, a soul, and a mind. Sui has got Sui mind, Sui has got Sui body, and Sui has got Sui Atma.
No. Sweet Atma never exists.
There is an Atma which is there inside your body, that is Sui.
In this life now.
No.
In my next one, I don't know.
We do not, there is no, we are giving it a name now just to know it, but there is a difference between your Atma and my Atma. There is no difference. Are you telling that your Atma and my Atma is the same?
No.
There is a difference?
Mm-hmm.
Then how do you differentiate it?
Only in this physical world.
Come on. Think about it. How do you differentiate? By karma. Karma differentiates you from me, Sui. There is no difference between you and me. As far as the Atma is concerned, what differentiates us is our karmas. That is what the Gita says very clearly.
Yeah, but
We have all come from him. We have all come from Jagannath. The difference between you and me was our karmas that we did in the period of time.
So
And so, your Atma is different from my Atma. I am calling it Sui Atma now. Next life, it may be some other Atma, based upon the karmas. It is Jagannath. He will decide what body to give you, what mind to give you. Right? When you are born, he is giving you a body and a mind. So you, today, are three things. A body, a soul, and a mind. So when death will occur, death can occur in three ways. Mrityu, the word Mrityu, death is a very wrong word. Mrityu can occur in three ways. Mrityu can occur to the mana, which is called apamrityu. You have not died really, because the two main things, the body and the Atma, are still intact. But the mind is dead. So it's brain dead. If by some means we are able to revive the mana, you come back. Right? Do you understand that death? Right. So we are now going to study what is it that causes brain death. What is it that causes body death? And what is it that causes the Atma to feel that I have had enough of this and I must go? If I divide these three into gunas, which shall I give the highest guna? To the Atma, to the body, or to the mana?
Atma.
You are sure of it?
Yeah.
Anybody having a different opinion on this?
Atma is without guna.
Take the death in peace.
Pardon?
That's nothing but death in peace condition. If Atma decides to leave itself without any, that's a natural death.
Do not let the illusion of what you see decide whether you are peaceful within or not. You are peaceful within if at the moment when the bomb exploded, in your name the name was Jagannath, in your mouth the name was Jagannath. If I said the bomb was just blowing, I said Jagannath, Jagannath. I was peaceful inside. Don't let the outside circumstances decide. Sorry, I will not agree with that. The Shastra is clear on this. If on my mouth, the name is that of the Lord, it doesn't matter what is happening around. It just doesn't matter. What is important is deciding how the body will go. Okay. So now, this is truly death of this. Okay. Yeah. So, the moon. Moon is, the Rahu and Ketu are created by the moon. So, whenever we find Rahu and Ketu involved in the death, whenever we find it, we find that the body is getting destroyed. Saturn, Rahu and Ketu, these three planets, the tamasic planets, Saturn, Rahu, Ketu, they cause the body to be destroyed. They are very tamasic. They will cause the body to be destroyed. It can happen slowly or it can happen fast. But the body will be destroyed. Even though the Atma wants to stay in the body has got destroyed. It cannot stay. You see my point? It means that there is a root for disease. Okay? If, on the other hand, we find that benefic planets like Venus, like the Rajas planets like Venus or Mercury, the more Rajasic planets are involved in the death, it can cause apamrityu or what is called brain death. So the Rajasic planets can cause brain death. Right? Then finally, we have very sattvic planets. Brihaspati taking the highest position among them. This is where the Atma feels, this body is no longer good enough for me to do my karma. And now I must leave this. Do you see the difference between the three? This body is very tamas. This body is very tamasic. So, the body is destroyed by the tamas planets. The mana dwells in Rajas. It enjoys Rajas. Rajas is the impeller of the mind. Yeah.
This is also based on the creation. The Indriyas, the mana was created out of Rajas guna, whilst the body was created out of Tamas guna.
Correct. So, when you go into the creation, those of you who have studied that creation part, you will see the body was created out of tamas, the mana was created out of rajas, and the atma had the sattva. That is why Bhagavan is always close to the atma. He is not close to the mana or to the body. Yeah.
90 years old man, he is not sick, but in the night he passes away without any falling sickness. And there is a yogi who takes samadhi at 40. So how do we still samadhi at 40 somebody takes? Can we call it as a Guru's effect, and
Yes.
and the 90% that's also Guru's
Yeah,
effect.
that's what.
Yes, yes, yes. Very, very nice. Very nice. In fact, for normal people, if you cross 90 and the person dies, please learn to distribute sweets. Like you distribute sweets on a birthday, you cut a cake on a birthday. Why did you cut the cake? She lived 1 year closer to the 90 margin. They crossed that 90, must distribute sweets when they die. It's fortunate. Okay. Now, our first point we understood subsequently little bit. It is still an Indian custom in villages they do it. Yeah.
Moon and sun also being Sattvic planets would be included in that third category in terms
Yes.
of influencing a
Moon and sun will also be included in the third category. In the case of sun, it is possible it can be a violent death, but the name of God will be in your mouth. Mahatma Gandhi is a very fine example. He was shot. When he died, Hey Ram.
But in your first statement, you said Rahu and Ketu are created by moon. So that has a connotation to an eclipse.
Yes, yes. That is why they are tamasic. That is why they are tamasic.
But and then what has moon got to do with it then?
Because that is
Connecting
dominating.
that.
That is dominating the mind. If that dominates the mind at the time of death, it is very tamasic. The body is not yet ready. You want to live. The Atma hangs around the body. That is why in Hindus we ensure that the body is burnt, so that once the body is reduced to ashes quickly, the Atma doesn't hover around it; it goes away. That is the reason why they burn it. You let him go. He is always. There is no way the body can be repaired, and the Atma come back. So why is he hovering around? Burn the body, reduce it to the ashes, so that he becomes free and goes away. Very good question, Sweet. Okay, now we'll come down to our topic of the day. What I was giving you is a brief background, so that you understand the difference between the sun, moon and lagna. This, what I have told now, you have to think about it. You have to meditate on it. I cannot give the answers. It is a spirituality. This aspect is the spirituality. Different belief systems will teach differently. Right? Now, you will see, for example, when we talk of the deterioration of the body, the Naisargika Dashas. Naisargika Dashas are the natural years of the planets. When you are born, the first year is ruled by the moon. The second to fourth year is ruled by Mars. Then Mercury rules from 4 to 12. And then we have the gurus. So we have Moon, Mercury and Mars forming group called the childhood group. The childhood group is Moon, Mercury and Mars. Keep that in mind. And then we have the prime years of life. Prime years of life are ruled by two gurus, Shukra and Brihaspati. The prime years from 12 years to 50 years of age. Shukra rules from 20 to 32 and Brihaspati rules from 32 to 50. So these two gurus, Asura Guru and the Sura Guru, cause the gradual. They maintain, since they are gurus, they tend to maintain the body at its peak level. Then comes Surya at 50. And at that age, the spirituality takes over. So from 50 to 70, the sun is the strongest. Then the deterioration starts after 70. After 70, it is not possible to recreate organs. Okay? So this is the Naisargika Dasha. Naisargika Dashas play a crucial role in deciding what is the state of the body, which in the case of body deaths become very important. We define 3 kinds of death, right? One is the body death. The body got destroyed. Then we have Ekadasha Rudras, or the 11-year solar flare cycles. We have come to know that the 11-year solar flare or the heat cycle, what we call the heat cycle of the world, we have come to know that that is 11 years now. And that is equated to the 11 Rudras, and that is how every 11 years you have the Rudra coming back to take you. Because your body functions on a certain heat balance. There is some kind of thermal control within your body. This thermal control is called as Mahajwara, the high fever. Jwara is fever, the high fever. And this high fever is a manifestation of Agni Devata who sits in the Garbha or in your stomach. Agni is fire, the fire in the stomach. He is Jata Veda, knowledge comes from him, all the Vedas come from him, from his mouth. He is the source of all life. So the life comes from this fire in your stomach, and this fire starts going down from the age of 50, which is the age of the sun. Till 50 you have lot of fire. After 50 your fire will go down. Do you see the point? So that is what is also the Ekadashi Rudra, is that fire cycle. There will be 1 year in which the fire cycle will be against you completely. Every 11 years it comes. So every 11 years there is a chance you will die. Every 11 years. Let us say that for me, let us say Mr. X, the Rudra is the 6th Rudra. So there is a chance he will die at the age of 6. Now 6 plus 11 is?
17.
So 17 plus 11?
38.
Plus 11?
39.
That is the way. He can only die on that particular year. He cannot die on another year. Because Agni will protect him. Where Agni is protecting, the person cannot die. Because Agni is very powerful. So, Ekadasha Rudras. In fact, I remember there is this magazine called The Times of Astrology, in which a person gave a complaint that he had gone to a Nadi reader who saw his father's chart and said, the father will live, normally the chart shows, till the age of 70. At 70 he will pass away. But he complained that my father died at the age of 59. Why did this happen? All the other predictions the Nadi gave was very correct. He was a very good astrologer. I'm talking about an event almost 5-7 years back. My friendship with that astrologer became very good after that. Anyway, so when I replied to that mail, it was a letter to the editor complaining that Nadi went wrong over here. I said, no, Nadi was not wrong. Nadi was right. He said 70. You remove 11 years from that. 59. Yes. Nadi was right. If you had maintained your body, you would have lived till 70. You did not maintain your body, so you will die 11 years earlier. You did not drink ghee, you will die. So, when lunch comes, take a bowl of ghee. Feed the Agni.
So this point is not related to natural, not related to unnatural death. Not in that sense.
No. Not the Rudras, not the Ekadashi Rudras. Ekadashi Rudras protect your body. The Rudra is protecting your body. Hanuman is protecting you. There can be no protection greater than Hanuman. उससे बढ़कर के कवच नहीं. Really? Get my point? There is no kavach higher than Narsimha's. Mars, Rudras. The highest Rudra, all the Rudra energies come from Narsimhadeva. There can be no protection higher than him. If he decides to protect you, who will kill you? Hanumanji stands guard. Do you think someone can cross over? Impossible. So the Rudras are very strong. So then we have Shula Dashas. Now what are Shula Dashas? Again body related Dashas. The Shula Dashas are based upon your 9-month gestation period. Depending upon the gestation period of a creature. What is gestation period? Pregnancy period. The period of pregnancy is one Shula Antardasha. It is very simple calculation. One Antardasha is one pregnancy period. For human beings, what is the pregnancy period? 9 months. So one Antardasha, pardon?
It says 10.
Please, don't disturb me. It's 9 solar months. Please, sweet. 9 solar months. Okay, please. Okay, so 9 solar months, right? So 9 solar months is the pregnancy period. So how much is one dasha? So 9 years. So 9 into 12 is 9 years or 108 months. So one dasha is 108 months, solar months. Saura Masa. So that is 9 years. Again 9 into 12 is 108. So we have 9 months, 108 months for one dasha, and 108 months into 12, or that is 108 years for the whole life. Do you see how the 108 is featuring? That is Shula, the body. It is based upon your pregnancy. So that also means a very important thing. If your mother has the strength to keep you in the garbha for a longer time, you will be stronger and you will live longer. It hints at that, isn't it? That is what the Shula hints at. Okay. Now, Saturn is the significator of longevity. Why? Why is Saturn the Karaka for longevity? You all know it is, but why?
It represents old, being old and old planet.
So people don't die young.
Well, it's a significator for longevity, so.
So that is why he gives life. Yeah.
Oh. He rules the Vayu Tattva, which keeps the pranas in the body.
Correct. Your longevity is based upon the pranas replenishing and being strong. Pranas are kept in the body by Vayu Tattva. That is why he is the significator of longevity. Okay. Now we shall study one Nadi principle. That day also I studied one Nadi principle for transit. Today I will also study one Nadi principle for transit. Right? What is that Nadi principle that we did last time in the last class? You were all there when we were talking of Varga Gochara. I took only one point. Today I will also take one point and see whether it works or not.
Saturn in transit and trines, I think.
Thanks, Rick. Saturn entrines to the 8th house or 8th lord. I think it's 8th lord, right? Now the Nadi's principle, if you read all the principles together and you take out the summation, this is what you will get. Saturn, when transiting the 8th house or trines, or the 8th lord or trines from any bhava, bring death on the concerned relative. And we checked out in the Vargas also that there were certain Vargas where it was working very well. Right? Now, also we tried the Navamsha. We didn't get the answer. Now, Jataka Parijata has also got certain principles. I am showing all the principles. Jataka Parijata has, Prashant, welcome. There is a beautiful chair over here right next to it. Okay. Jataka Parijata has got some nice principles. How many of you have tried this? Has it worked? Senior Jyotish Gurus, somebody give me an answer. Have you tried this? Yeah.
Sometimes.
So sometimes it works.
Yes.
So we determine the number of planets associating with the Lord of the 5th house, add their Udadasha periods and divide by 12. The remainder shall give the sign occupied by the sun at the time of death. Sometimes it works. Then the second rule is add the Udadasha periods of the Lagnesh and the 5th, divide this by 30, remainder gives the date from Sankranti of death. Has this worked?
I don't know. I haven't tried that.
What is the flaw in this? There is a serious flaw in this. my Gurudev had pointed out that this has got a very serious flaw. Mathematical flaw. Let us say somebody's Lagna Lord is Moon. Cancer Lagna. Right? And there are no planets in Lagna or the 5th house. That means all Cancer Lagna people, all Cancer Lagna people with no planet in the 1st house or the 5th house. What will you do? You will take the lords, right? Moon is 10 years, Chandra Dasha is 10 years, Mars Dasha is 7 years, 17th. So all of them have to die only on the 17th day after Sankranti. Absurd. There is a very serious flaw in this shloka. That is the reason why my Gurudev said, a thing which a shloka or any rule when somebody gives you like this, test it for its philosophical application. Is it, you think it is logical enough? It is not logical enough. It does not take the whole ambit into account. You try it, it will not work. That's why when he says sometimes, it is absurd. So you will see these rules of Jataka Parijata. I cannot take this directly in its face value. There is something else that is being talked about which I am not understanding. Perhaps he is not talking about the Rashi chart, he is talking about some other chart. Because Jataka Parijata is not wrong, it is accepted as one of the top classics. You see my point? Because this is absurd. The third rule, during an evil dasha when Saturn arrives at the Lagna or 8th house, death comes. This is a well-known transit of Saturn. This is accepted generally. Okay. So I showed you the Nadi principles. Now I showed you Jataka Parijata. Now I'll tell you what my grandfather's rules were. Now I call them my grandfather's rules because honestly I don't have a source for that. You ask me to quote a shloka, I cannot quote a shloka, but it works bullseye. You'll see that. It works. You'll see how it works. The first rule, Pandit Jagannath Sarath's rule, determine the stronger between the Arudha Lagna and the 7th sign from it. Saturn arriving at a trine to this shall vitiate the tattva that shall cause death. What is the tattva? Vayu tattva. The Vayu tattva is vitiated, your pranas have become weak, so you will die. Interesting, isn't it? Second rule. So from that we can know a broad period of about 2.5 years, and the dasha is also bad. Dasha has to be bad, let me tell you. If the dasha is good, it will protect you. The second rule, having found out the year when you will die, what is the next point? Anshu, how are you? Namaste. Come. Anshu Sood, he is the one who had made the prediction about Manmohan Singh. One of the most brilliant astrologers of Delhi. Most brilliant, no doubt on that. Okay, we shall go further in the next step. The second point that we are going to check is Mrityu Pada. Mrityu Pada is A8 or Arudha of the 8th house. Determine the stronger between A8 and the 7th house from it. In the Arudhas, one principle you must always bear in mind. Always it is the Arudha or the 7th house. One of the two. When the sun arrives at a trine to this, it shall remove the Atma from the body, causing death. Okay? Third point. So from this, we know tentatively the period. Then you use Dasha Antar Dasha to know the year. Then here we will know the month. And then we come to the date. Determine the most evil planet associating with the 5th Lord or the Bhava. Ideally 5th Lord, not Bhava. I was taught 5th Lord or Bhava. But ideally, I am telling you what I have seen working is the 5th Lord, not the Bhava. The Tithi of this planet shall prove to be the undoing of the protection of the Mana, thereby bringing death. So that is the day you will die. So first we have found out the year when a person will die tentatively, then the month in which he will die, and then the day when he will die. See how systematically we are working. And after finding out the day when he will die, you have to tell which lagna he will die. He just cannot leave the body like that. He cannot leave the body unless the lagna comes. You just cannot die when you want to die. Am I being understood? The lagna determine the weaker between the Arudha lagna and the 7th house from it. The trines to that will give the lagna of Mrityu. These 4 rules shall apply to all beings, all creatures, all jivatmas in Kali Yuga. That is what my grandfather said. All jivatmas in Kali Yuga, excepting the bhaktas. That is the condition he put. It will apply to everybody excepting a bhakta. Very peculiar. You see, you will not find these rules anywhere. He said in Kali Yuga, why those? I asked, why are those death rules never working? Never. You try it. You try the death rules of Gochara, they will never work. Something will go wrong. All your predictions are going haywire. When it comes to death, you really don't know what's going on. So tell me, I wanted to know the system by which these people could tell accurately. I told him, how did Vaikuli Mahapatra tell that I am going to die on so and so date? He planned it. He took his entourage and went to Puri, stayed there 13 days before, finished all his pujas in Jagannath. The day and time he told, he passed away at that time, he told where he will die. He had bought the sandalwood to be burnt. This is absurd. Vaikuli Mahapatra could do it, so why can't I do it? I need to know. So this was the answer. Because if you don't tell me, how will I know? Vaikuli Mahapatra did it. Then there was the other great astrologer. He's recorded because he's moving to Puri. You know what these people used to do? They would do the calculation. They will take their whole thing before, go to Puri, stay there, do their japas, and then buy their sandalwood, buy everything and keep it for the day and hour. This is absurd. And in today's date, we are making all sorts of predictions and we are claiming to be astrologers. Am I being understood? This will apply to everybody excepting bhaktas. We will try how this works in this Kali Yuga.
This is how to decide Krishna Paksha or Shukla Paksha. See?
That he did not tell me. He passed away. I'll have to meet him in heaven to understand. I have given very honestly what he told me. Right? Okay. If there is protection, what is protection? Jupiter. There are some protection rules that are given out here.
Okay, excellent.
Let's go to the next slide. This you can read it later. Okay, let us see Mahatma Gandhi's chart. Can you see the chart clearly over here? It is a very well-known chart, the chart of Mahatma Gandhi. What is the Lagna? Tula Lagna. You see, I have given both the charts. First over here is the chart, birth chart. Here is the death chart. Both the charts are there right in front of you. You can apply the rules and see for yourself what works and what doesn't work. Anybody wants to do the Nadi exercise for me? Why don't you try, Tashin? Okay? Arudha Lagna is not Nadi. Arudha Lagna is my grandfather's. That's who you will try.
Saturn will transiting the 8th or the 8th lord from any power brings death.
So 8th from the Lagna is which house? Taurus.
Taurus.
So what is the trine to that? So Saturn in transit was in Cancer. Is it trine to Taurus?
No.
So it is not trines to the 8th lord. Right? Now the 8th lord or the 8th house. You see, it is such an ambiguous rule. Trines to the 8th lord, trines to the 8th house. Both of them didn't work. Am I being understood? You can see the nadi is not working over here. Shall we try the rule of my grandfather Jagannath Rath? See that? Arudha Lagna. Sui, please try. Do the honor to my grandfather. Please. Arudha Lagna is in Cancer. Saturn was in Cancer. Do you see that? It worked, it did work. Right. Month. Where is A8? Where is the Arudha of the 8th house? Which is the 8th house? Taurus. Count from Taurus to the Lord Venus. Is 6. So count 6 from Venus, we get Pisces. Mrityu Pada is in Pisces. So between Pisces and Virgo, which is stronger? Virgo is stronger, according to you. Okay. So you think the sun has to be in trines to Virgo? Okay. Where was the sun? The sun at the time of death was in? Capricorn, in trine. Bullseye. So we got the month right also. What about the date? Which is the 5th lord? One is Saturn and one is Rahu. Rahu is conjoining the moon and is aspected by Saturn. See only Rashi Drishti over here. Only Rashi Drishti. Do not see Graha Drishtis. You cannot desire death. No Graha Drishtis. What will happen, that's all. It's a fact. It's the fact of life. Death is a fact of life. It's not a desire. It is not a ichha that is fulfilled. So the moon or Saturn can indicate if Rahu is stronger, to indicate it. If Saturn is stronger, who are aspecting Saturn? Chandra is aspecting, Rahu is aspecting. What about Guru's aspect? Is Guru aspecting or not aspecting?
Yes.
Rashi Drishti. Those of you who have not learned Rashi Drishti should learn it before applying this rule. Ketu also. But Ketu doesn't rule Tithis, so we don't take it into account. Among these planets, which is the strongest planet? Jupiter is Atma Karaka. He is the boss. So, which day did he die?
Panchami.
He died on Panchami, which is ruled by Jupiter. So we got the date also correct. What time did he die? Shall we check that? What was the condition? Arudha Lagna. Right? Where is Arudha Lagna? Cancer. What was the Lagna rising at the time of death? Cancer. Every rule has worked.
You said to find the weaker sign between Al and 7 for the Lagna and the stronger sign between Al and 7 for Shana. So it was Cancer both times.
The moon is there in Cancer, which gives the Saturn's transit. Rahu is there in Cancer, which gives the destruction of the body. The tamas gunas, the tamas grahas, I started in the beginning, Saturn, Rahu, Ketu. When you decide which lagna shall be the one that will give the death, you have to choose between these three. Somebody has to destroy the body.
So why wouldn't Capricorn...
The Chandala will destroy the body, isn't it? Who will destroy the body?
So it's different rules of strength.
No. No. It is the fourth source of strength of Gemini. Yes, sir.
How do they identify the Paksha? Whether it's Shukla
Paksha, that question has been asked, I have given the answer. Grandfather didn't tell me, so I don't remember. I have told honestly what I was told. I am sharing it with you. What was taught to me, I am sharing with you. Others will not even tell you. Am I being right, Dharmaji? Nobody will tell you, let me tell you.
Yes.
Not one astrologer worth his salt will come stand up and tell you. They will not tell you. They will not teach you. I have started this in the name of Jagannath Mahaprabhu. I will not step back. Yeah.
Can you please explain again why you said Jupiter is the most evil planet?
No, not evil. The strongest. The strongest. Strongest. There is a reason to say this. One sec. Let me answer. It is a very vital question. He has asked a very good question. Let me tell you, in the Bhagavad Gita, this question that he has asked is linked to the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna teaches over there, if you think of me in whatever form, in that form you will come to me. Right? And who gave us the Bhagavad Gita? Adi Shankara gave it to us, right? So we accept it as the final authority. So, in what form are you thinking of God? From where will that come? That bhakti will come from where? It will come from Jala Tattva. Jala Tattva rules what? It rules Tithi in the Panchanga. In the Panchanga, it rules Tithi. So, the Tithi will be determined by the strongest influence on your fifth lord. To that Devata you will go. You have the power to change it by your bhakti. That bhakti is for you. If you have the bhakti, you will change it. We will do some cases where these rules have not worked. There should be an inspiration for you that you can break it. But believe me, it is not easy. If it worked for Mahatma Gandhi, who spent his whole life taking the name of Ram, it is not an easy job. It is not an easy job. It's very easy to talk about it, but very difficult to give that level of bhakti.
Yeah, number 3, it was written most evil, that's why.
Oh yes, because he's used the word most evil because actually death is considered, it's considered evil actually. Actually it is Punya Tithi because you have gone to the one you wanted to go to. It is actually the word I have used is wrong. The correct word is Punya. It is auspicious actually. Whole life you were praying Krishna, Krishna, take me, take me. Finally when Krishna came to take you, is it good or bad?
But it was assassinated, it wasn't a natural death.
The assassination was there, Sui, because the way a person will die will be seen in the third house from Arudha Lagna. The Arudha Lagna here, if you see his chart, is in Cancer. The third house from that is Virgo. What is Virgo? Virgo is a garden. So he was in a garden. He has to be in a garden. He cannot die in another place. Wherever a person dies, that place is decided. You have to go to that place to die. So he went to the garden. What was waiting for him? The sun. What does Jaimini say about Surya? Bullet or an arrow. So that hit him. What does Surya indicate? What is Surya? Surya is his Dharma Devata. Who was his Dharma Devata? Ram. Surya. So when he died, he took the name of Ram. See.
So Jupiter's having the strongest Atma Bala, so that's why it was taking him towards that deity or that form, that Tithi. Now, when we talk about the Arudha Lagna and strength, you're talking about the Sharira being destroyed, the body being destroyed because of Rahu and Saturn and so on. So here we're basically looking at that the Arudha Lagna in this case, having more malefics, was stronger.
Fourth source of strength. Forget
was
all this
stronger
four
to kill.
philosophy you can give me. Fourth source of strength.
And actually, that's what I'm referring to. It was stronger to kill.
Yeah, stronger
Yes.
to kill.
So that
Stronger to
means-
destroy the body. Who will destroy the body?
Mhm.
Somebody has to destroy the body for the Atma to leave the body.
Mhm.
A Chandala will do it. Who is the Chandala?
Okay.
You have the answers. Come on. Yes, Rahu is sitting over there. Naturally, I will not choose anybody else.
I do not know whether this rule will work otherwise or not. Here we see, if we go to Nadi rule, Venus is sitting in the Lagna. Let us forget about the sign. When he died, Saturn was in
Saturn was in?
Lagna.
It was in Karka.
No, it was in Kark.
Death Lagna is Kark. And Saturn was sitting there. And Venus, 8th Lord, was sitting in Lagna.
That is not what the Dhari writes.
Maybe we have to interconnect.
That means a person will die every day.
No, it's not every day.
नहीं, ये तो है. If you put the rule like that, every day I will die.
No.
Now, why no? You said Saturn will be in Lagna. That's all the rule, na? So whenever Saturn will pass through, will be the Lagna person will die.
Try to understand what I am saying. Venus is sitting in Lagna. There is two ways of seeing it. It is sitting in Tula Rashi or in Lagna. And when Saturn...
So according to you, because Shukra is in Lagna, the time when he will die, the Lagna will be that of Shani.
That's not Shani, but Shani is in the Lagna.
We will try. Next chart we can try it and see. Okay.
But the death time, the death lagna, how is Karka weaker than Makara in his natal chart?
Because it has got the moon Rahu yoga. Isn't that a beautiful yoga to destroy?
Okay. That sense.
You have to study the chart. It cannot be outside the chart. The answer you will find in the chart. Okay? The Tithi also worked correctly. The Lagna also worked correctly. Shukla Paksha, Krishna Paksha, I don't have an answer. Please, next chart. This next chart I am not going to do. The class will have to do to prove to me that you have understood. Rajiv Gandhi. Okay. Goel Saab, let us try your Nadi rule. Your interpretation of the Nadi. Let us try it. No harm. He has come up with a nice idea. Let us try it.
Yes.
The 8th Lord Jupiter is in Lagna. So according to that, Saturn should be in Lagna. Where is Saturn? When the person he died? It's in the 3rd house. So well, sir, it didn't work. You see, from one chart to second chart it didn't work. Why talk of third? Okay, now let us try the Nadi rules. Nadi rules, if you want, you can try. Let us try the 4 rules of my grandfather once again. Rajiv Gandhi, well-known chart. I want somebody from the Serbian group to do this. Who will do it? Zokip, choose 4 people. Or choose one person who will do it. Okay. She's not sure?
Yeah. She's not willing to do it.
No? Somebody from Serbia group, come on. Mickey, will you do it? No, you think it's not good enough? No. Yeah, try. Try it. No harm trying. Try. It is there. You can even see the guidelines I have given over here. First you have to see is Arudha Lagna. Where is Arudha Lagna? AL?
In Taurus.
In Taurus. Right. So Saturn should be ideally in trines to this.
Saturn.
When a person dies.
No.
Why it will not be in trine when you die? The rule is wherever Arudha Lagna is, Saturn in Gochara has to come in trines to that.
Yes.
In
It should
Trikona.
be in Virgo or
Taurus. So Shani has to be in Taurus or in Virgo or in Makara. Where is Shani? It's in Makara, no? See, this is the death chart.
Yes, it is in Makara.
It is in Makara, right? So it is correct, no?
Yes, correct.
Right. Okay. Shall we try the next rule? Second rule, we have to see A8, the Arudha of the 8th house. Which is the 8th house?
8th house in Rashi Lagna is Pisces,
Yes.
and Guru is in
Lagna.
and then 8 Bhavas from here is 6, yes, is Makara.
Correct. It is Makara. So now you have to see, is Makara strong
Yes,
to indicate the month when the person will die?
yes.
Okay. Now, where will Surya be then in trines to it? It can be in one of the 3 Rashis,
Yes.
Makara or
Vrishab and
Kanya. Where was Surya?
Surya was
Correct? It worked. Try the next one. Next rule.
Okay.
Which is the 5th Lord?
5th Lord is Jupiter.
It is conjoining 4 planets.
Yes.
Among these 4 planets, which is the strongest? That is Simha Rashi.
Sun is in all love.
Yes, it is the strongest. Sun is the strongest, right? So which day he will die? Or he will die on a Tithi which is ruled by the sun.
Yes, true.
He died on Navami. Navami is ruled by the sun.
Yes.
This also worked.
What?
Now what time he will die?
Lagna is
Arudha Lagna. You have to see the Arudha Lagna and again now find out the Lagna from here.
Arudha Lagna from left chart is Pisces.
Arudha Lagna is in Taurus. In the Janma chart
In Janma chart.
is Taurus,
Yes.
right? So what will be the Lagna?
And the 7th sign from this is
See, look at Rahu. Rahu is the big Chandala of the chart.
yes.
Rahu will give you an indication. Rahu is looking at Vrishchika.
Yes.
So that is likely to give the death Lagna more because he's Chandala. Chandala will do the job. So when Chandala is looking at Vrishchika, Vrishchika is likely to do the job instead of Vrishabha. Now Rahu is looking at both Vrishabha and Vrishchika. Why should I choose Vrishchika and why not Vrishabha? Because Ketu is also looking at Vrishchika, which is his own sign. So Vrishchika is having stronger power to potential to do it. You see, more Chandala influence to do it. So that is the reason why Vrishchika is stronger to do the job. That is why the Lagna rising at the time of death was Vrishchika. When he died, Vrishchika was rising. You got all the steps?
Yes.
Yes.
When we talked about Mahatma Gandhi, we have taken Atmakaraka
What?
as the strongest planet.
Right, right,
But here Mercury is Atmakaraka,
right.
which is also conjoined.
We'll see the degrees of Mercury. How many degrees is he? 28. Where is Sun? So why not Mercury? Why would Mercury not give the tithi? Why the Sun should give the tithi over
My
there?
question is,
So you give me an answer.
actually, I mean, as per the rules,
What
we
means?
decide the stronger planets.
On the basis of?
Atmakaraka dominates always. He is the most powerful.
He's supposed to dominate.
Yeah, it's supposed to dominate. But in this case, it has not.
Atmakaraka was dominating. He was flying aircraft. Atmakaraka was dominating, but he came into politics. Who asked him to come to politics? Did I tell him? Who brought him to politics? Mercury brought him to politics or Surya brought him to politics? He brought him to kill him.
No, when we have, when we are actually deciding the tithi,
Yes.
it should be Mercury tithi rather than Sun.
No, you have to determine which is the strongest among them to do it. Atmakaraka is one reason, but merely because he is Atmakaraka, he cannot do it. When he is sitting with 5 fellows, then it is a sabha. The chairman cannot always take the decision in a sabha. Maybe one other member of the sabha is very strong. But in that Mahatma Gandhi's case, Atmakaraka was alone.
No, here is that the case the planets are together, so they are changing the results or something?
No, they are all sitting in Surya's house.
Okay.
You see, that is the house of Surya, otherwise Surya cannot determine the tithi. If this was not Simha Rashi, if this Rashi was not Simha Rashi, it would not be Navami. They are sitting, the meeting is taking place in Surya's house. So Surya is becoming stronger to change the decision. Otherwise Mercury would have surely dominated. There is no reason why it would not dominate. You are right, technically you are right. Only because it is Leo. So he is changing that decision. He was in flight for so many years in his life. But Surya changed the decision, forced him to change and join politics. See how the force was made? This is all Vigrahas. Huh?
So you're basically saying planets joined Atmakaraka can actually dominate over it if they're stronger.
If they are stronger.
Important principle.
Then the Atma will want to get out of the body. He will say, what the hell am I doing over here? You see the point? The moment you have planets pushing the Atma will want to go. He will not be happy with it. It is like falling.
Incidentally, an airport was to come over there. Incidentally, an airport was to come over there. Very nice.
Let us hope it comes.
No.
That place.
You're talking about airlines, isn't it? There's an airport that was to come over there. An airport connection you said relating to Mercury.
Yes.
There's
They were
some
supposed to have an
relation.
airport
Yes.
over there.
An airport was to come
in
over
that
there.
place, they are going to create an airport.
There it is there, connected, well connected.
That is.
Just repeat the point what Ram said.
Ram's point is that Mercury cannot be ignored. The place where he died, the spot where he died in Sripur, that particular spot, an airport was supposed to be built. That spot has been earmarked for an airport. Phenomenal. That was something we. So the flight connection is always there.
Always there.
And an interesting point, Guruji, the SSNs were found in Bangalore when I was living over there, and the apartment they were found where they committed suicide was the house of an ex-pilot. Based over there.
So the Mercury has done his job. So there is a flight connection.
Well,
there are things we don't fully understand in Jyotish. We need to understand. Okay, can I? Is this chart okay, or can we? Good question. Very good question. Now somebody will do this.
What does it mean when the Atmakaraka is not involved?
Then just take the strongest one.
No, I don't mean in calculating the strength. What can we ascertain if the Atmakaraka is not involved?
If the Atmakaraka is not among the planets that is causing the death, then perhaps the death will be not be such a significant event. Like in each of these cases, the death was a very significant event in their lives. All of them have, the death was discussed and cross-examined, the committees sat and this and that. Maybe if the Atmakaraka is not involved, then it is not a significant event from the world point of view. Indira Gandhi. Who is going to do this, Indira Gandhi? Why don't you? No? Yes?
Eighth house is Kumbha Rashi.
Yes. 8th house is Kumbha Rashi. Any point you people feel he's going wrong, ask him. 8th house is Aquarius, Kumbha Rashi, right?
And Shani in moment of that, Shani was in Tula Rashi. It's in Trine.
Trine to the 8th house.
Yes.
Right. So it worked in this case. So out of 3 cases, it has worked in 1.
Yes.
Not bad.
Okay. Ruda Lagna is in Mesha Rashi.
Right.
So seventh from Ruda Lagna is stronger. Yes, due to Guru Drishti.
Good point. Varahamira's rule, or what we call Gemini's second rule. Okay.
And Shani was in Libra, in Kalaya.
Correct.
but Mars and Mercury are aspecting Mesha where the Aruda Lagna is. Drishti. More importantly, the Lord of Mesha and Mercury are aspecting Mesha. Whilst for Tula, only Guru is aspecting Tula.
Only Guru? Guru is aspecting.
Okay.
Only Guru, but Guru.
But, okay, that's one
Guru means heavyweight. And Guru is Vakri.
Okay.
Okay, what else? Tell me.
But how come, okay.
Why would Guru have the power to change this rule so much?
Only because of Akri. It has Atmabala, yes. It's 3 times as strong.
So 3 times stronger, right? So
Look at an exchange between Venus and Guru.
Thanks for that. There's a very strong connection. The peculiarity about this chart, let me tell you, is there are 3 parivartanas. 3 parivartanas. All the time. There is a parivartana between Saturn and Moon. There is a parivartana between Mars and Sun. Right? So if Mars and Sun are having parivartana, right? Then there is another parivartana between Shukra and Brihaspati. So because of the parivartana, can I say that the 7th will be stronger? But not only because of that, but because of retrograde Jupiter.
That's because of retrograde.
Jupiter and retrograde. Okay. With Gulika and whatever that. Anyway, so Libra was strong. To kill. Strong to kill. We've used that word.
Not strong to kill.
Yes. So Shani was in Tula.
Yes.
Fair enough. Okay. Now go to Sun's transit and pinpoint the month he will die.
Mritipada. Eight house has two lords. It means two Mritipadas.
Correct. Because 8th house has two lords. One is Rahu and one is Shani. So one Mrityupada is coming in the sign Dhanu.
Yes, and one in Tula.
And one is coming in Tula. So why will Dhanu not have the power to kill? Why will Tula kill? Dhanu should kill, right?
Yes.
That's malefics.
It has Chandala Rahu in it. Most important. Dhanu should kill him. Kill her, not Tula. But again Parivartana has come into the picture.
Changing things totally because of Parivartana.
So because of the Parivartana, should I take Tula instead of Dhanu?
Tula. Dhanu should kill, but because of Parivartana, we take Tula.
We have two options, is it not? Either Shukra's Rashi or Guru's Rashi. Dhanu is Guru's Rashi. Tula is Shukra's Rashi. I am taking Dhanu, which is the Guru's Rashi. But there is a Parivartana. Number one. Number two, Shukra is also in Dhanu with Rahu.
Yes.
Right? Should I take Tula because of that? Because of Parivartana? But Tula option is allowed because it is also Mrityupada. If it was not Mrityupada, I could not have taken it. I could not even have considered it. I will be forced to stay in it.
If there is another Parivartana but not taking another Mrityupada, it will not important.
Right. So if I take the Parivartana into account, then I can touch Tula. Otherwise, normally, according to this, I should have taken Dhanu. 3 Parivartanas have made our life very difficult in this chart. because it is difficult. How do you, each time you are thinking of something, there is a Parivartana. Okay. So the sun was in Libra at the time of death. Right. Which is the 5th lord? Again there are 2 of them. Again there are 2 of them. Saturn and Ketu. Very difficult, you know.
Mars Ketu.
Sorry, Mars and Ketu. Ketu is aspected by Venus and Rahu by Rashi Drishti, and Mars is aspected by Moon. She died on Ashtami Tithi ruled by Rahu. Can you go through this and agree with it? You think that Ketu as being in the 12th house in debility, an aspect of Rahu and Venus, is more capable of giving that death, of indicating that death? Or should it have been Mars, which is aspected by the Moon? No, we were taking strong till now. Why are you changing the rule? We were taking the stronger one till now. Why are we changing it now?
Moon is Lagna lord, so it wouldn't want to take that.
You look at the degrees of Venus and look at the degrees of Saturn. No, look at the degrees and give me, you will find the answer there.
Exchange, replace.
Chara Karaka replacement, in which the Atma Karaka Saturn has been replaced by the new Atma Karaka Venus. So Venus takes over the ability. So we have to get the Tithi from that combination, Venus and Rahu. And that will be Ashtami.
How come it's not Shasti?
How
Or
come?
Chaturdasi? Shukra?
It's the same as the last chart. When your planets conjoin the Amakaraka, then you...
Why it should not be Ashtami? Rahu has conjoined Venus, it will give its results. It's a well-known dictum of Jyotish.
Okay.
Whoever he will conjoin, he will take away his power to do, especially the bad things. Yeah. So he will give it Venus Tithi Ashtami. So fine, we have worked these 3 charts and we have found that so far it has worked. Now, do you want a tea break now, or we'll take a? How is the tea break? Do you take a tea break in the morning?
Yeah.
Right? I want to just open the chart so that you can enjoy it while having your tea. A chart where it didn't work, none of the rules worked. That's right. Which you need to look at the computer and click it. Okay. No, here also it worked. We'll just show one more chart. Further. Yeah. In this chart, a very peculiar thing has happened. In that, you will find, in the chart of Swami Vivekananda, we will leave it open over here. The rules are not working. Why?
You said bhakti.
So if you can, so that means it proves that he has bhakti, right? There are many people who told me, when I told them, some of my students I was teaching earlier, I told them, they are not working in the chart of Swami Vivekananda. One of them said the chart itself is wrong. क्या बोलोगे उसको? What will you tell? I said, okay, fine. There is one more chart to which you have no argument, which that chart is well known to be an accurate chart. V.V. Raman's chart, next one. What about this chart? Okay? This chart, yeah.
What about the second rules from where it stated in the first line that favorable dashas can protect the net?
Yeah. All right, they can protect, but finally one day a person will die, no?
Okay, but
when the person finally dies, these Arudha rules have to work in Kali Yuga. They have to work. People are totally ruled by Arudha. Satya has no meaning. Truth has got no meaning. You have high status, you have everything. You don't have high status, you don't have money, you have nothing. This is the hard truth. As day is progressing, it is going from bad to worse.
But maybe 11 years later, if that time dashas will take.
Yes. But it will. But all this Arudha and all that must work.
For example, even when Arudha is destroyed, like it is in Maganakaraka, starting from Atmakaraka.
Yes.
Even in that case.
Still, this rules will work. There is no way that he can escape because he has to leave this world by the same by which he came to this world. This world is nothing but Arudha. Okay. Which tithi did he die? Dr. V.V. Raman. Just tell me the tithi in which he died. You can clearly see that in the chart of Dr. V.V. Raman, the fifth lord is what? Mercury? Mercury is conjoined which two planets? But he died on? He didn't die on, did he die on Amavasya? No. I think he died on Dvitiya, which is ruled by the moon. Why? Does anybody know whom Dr. Raman used to worship? Everybody knows that. Every astrologer worth his salt knows that Dr. Raman was an ardent worshipper of Raja Rajeshwari. Right? Does it indicate the moon?
Yes.
Lalita Sahasranam. Does it or not?
Yes.
Does it prove that he was a great bhakta? He died.
Sorry, who's that?
Raja Rajeshwari. Lalita. Lalita. You see that? How do you explain these things? You will see other things. What I am trying to tell you is that astrology is a spiritual subject. It has the power to take you out of the grasp of those arudhas. Get out of those arudhas and focus on the lagna. See this case. When you study this case, he was an astrologer. That's all. He was a good human being, an astrologer, a straight man. He lived his normal life. He got out of it. You just see it didn't work. Why it did not work? Why he was, it proves. Yeah, tell me.
Here we are counting the fifth lord from the lagna, not from the other lagna.
Yes.
As you told, the AL is not, for saintly people, for one who is having a lot of bhakti, AL is not going to dominate.
The day you will die will be decided by the fifth house. You will only go to him whom you have aspired to go. That is for sure. That is what the Gita says. And your aspiration is in the fifth house. Where do I see the aspiration from? I see it from the fifth house. Mantra Bhava. She's taking a paper on Mantra Bhava, right, Sarvani? No? What are you taking on? Mantra initiation. Okay. You read her paper in Mantra Bhava, 5th house. Okay? So I will break for tea now. Think about it, relax, and we'll come back to do some more cases and break our heads slightly more.